Good evening and welcome to Close Approach. Today I'm joined by Dr. Giamatteo. Dr. G.
Good seeing you, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
So we're here to talk a little bit about your book called The Winning Edge. So, you have a background in psychology, right?
Yes, sir.
And so you have your degree, everything. So first of all, what inspired you to write this book?
Well, I was under incentives from the university. They were offering faculty incentives to write, and I decided I wanted to put it together, a book where students and athletes could have what I teach in my course, the sports psychology course here on campus. So students were inspiring for me, encouraging me to put something together that would help the athletes. Besides teaching the class, they'd have something they could take with them and learn from it and get hands-on criteria about learning mental game skills.
Right, and this is primarily about sports, correct?
Yes, it's sports, and I threw the word life in there, mastering the mental game in sport and life. So a lot of these skills can be taken to marriage and to family life and just success in your career. So, but one of the main reasons I was encouraged to write the book is when I took a lesson here at a local golf course years and years ago. And I was trying to take a lesson and get better at golf, and the pro said to me, "You don't need a lesson, sir. You need a mental game book."
Right.
And that started my whole career in sports psychology, just by that one individual encouraging me to learn mental game skills, which I wasn't very familiar with.
Right.
So,
and so you, in this book, you talk a lot about the mental game, and part of that is mental toughness. In your opinion, what factor does that have in performance, especially sports related?
well, mental toughness is key, because if you don't laugh things off and learn how to combat adversity when it faces you in competition, you're in serious trouble, because the emotions will take over and you'll start breaking down and you'll have a gigantic meltdown without learning how to shield adversity that comes during athletic competition. It's gigantic.
Right.
It's gigantic.
And you say part of that recipe for success with mental toughness comes with 90% of a mental game, 10% physical. You strongly believe that, right?
Okay, so I think it's the opposite. It's about 10% mental.
Okay.
And 90%. So I'm gonna bring that to a point here, because if you learn the game 90%, you still need the other 10% to take you over the top.
To push you over to the next level.
Yeah, so if you don't learn mental game skills, you're only 90% ready for performance.
Right.
Because every athlete, I remember you were played football, and you did other athletic endeavors, but most athletes have never been taught mental game skills. So if you want to get that 100% correct in performance, you definitely need to learn that other 10%. You're maybe 90% ready, but that other 10% is the mental game skills, which you have to learn and put that in your repertoire besides your physical performance. It's the learning mental game skills to combat that. Self-talk, confidence, motivation.
And just to add on to that, one of your main parts of your mental game, you say, is goal setting and having realistic goals, being able to build upon that, and go into the future having a goal for this time, a goal for this time to continue to get better. So, why do you think it's so important to be able to have a realistic goal as opposed to something kind of out there and dreamy?
Well, you have to aim.
Right.
If you're not, I mean, if you're going to play basketball, you're aiming to put the ball into the hoop. So goal setting is just setting a plan to aim to make your performance at a higher level. And that higher level is, when you get the book, there's goal setting sheets in there. Like, let's say, for example, golf. You were playing golf, you're hitting fairways, two putts, keeping your head down, setting goals like that, and then you could build on those statistics over 2 or 3 rounds, and then you can set goals to improve those particular physical skills that you do. So that's why I put it in chapter 1. Chapter 1, if you don't start setting goals, you forget the rest of the book.
That's the most important, because I think I've heard it said that in order to move forward, you got to know where you're going. So I think that's an important aspect to remember. But we're talking about the mental game. So mental imagery. How would you describe that and kind of walk that through to all the viewers at home?
Oh, absolutely. Mental imagery is visualizing, dreaming, and looking at yourself being successful. The nervous system will take a picture of whatever image you put before it. It's like an imprint. You're imprinting that into your brain, and it's taking a picture. So when I saw this particular student one time, I was working at the Y, and we were trying to use the trampoline, and we didn't know how to use it, and he got a bad injury, and I could still see his wrist dangling down. I could still see it in my mind. So that's a negative image.
Right.
Okay, but that's an imprint. Now I know when I work on the trampoline, I want to make sure that we all know how to use it, because I never want to see that image again in my life.
Right.
Because it was a negative image.
So it's kind of a negative reinforcement, you would say.
Well, it's a negative thought in my head. Okay, and there's 3 components. I have some time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you want to get positive imprints into your mind. Jack Nicklaus, we say, is the greatest golfer ever.
Right.
Okay. When he goes to a tournament, what does he do? Got any idea?
I don't know.
On the airplane, he's seeing every shot in his mind. He's visualizing it and seeing it on every hole. This is part of the goal setting too. He's got the course information, the yardage sheets in front of him, and he's visualizing every shot. He's recording it in his mind before he gets to the event.
Right.
And seeing himself successful in putting. Seeing himself, instead of saying, "Oh my God, what am I going to do?"
Right.
I played this course before. I hit the ball out of bounds. So you're imprinting the negative there.
Right. So you're saying that he's been there already in his mind, so he knows how
he's
to
getting
handle
there,
that specific
and he's
situation.
mentally setting goals, and he's visualizing every shot successfully from hole 1 to hole 18 before he gets there. Instead of saying, "Oh, when I get there, I'll figure it out." I don't think so. He's won 18 majors. How many times has he finished second? Like 17 times in majors?
Right.
You know, so we're talking about the greatest golfer in the world. Okay? And now he's talking about, these books didn't exist when he played.
Right. And I think he's one of the most successful golfers ever. I think he's, only 4 majors ahead, though, from Tiger Woods. And so I wanted to throw it out to Colby with word on the street. He was asking people, what they think about Tiger Woods and what they think for his future.
Okay.
All right, let's go to word on the street.
Golf. Some people call it the greatest sport ever played. Others call it boring and dull. But there's one thing for sure. Tiger Woods brings vibrancy and popularity back to the sport. So I hit the streets here at SU in order to find out what people truly think about the golfing legend. So what do you think about Tiger Woods?
I love Tiger Woods as a golfer. Personally, I don't really like him that much. I really like Jordan Spieth. He's my favorite golfer. But Tiger has definitely paved the way for a lot of new golfers to come in and has made the sport of golf more exciting.
Who's your favorite golfer?
Tiger Woods.
And what do you think makes him special? Why do you like him?
I would say he brings a lot of minorities to the sport of golf.
Where do you see Tiger's evolution? Obviously, he came back with stress fractures in his back and vertebrae. Do you think he's going to win a major this year?
Well, he's coming on pretty strong, and he definitely has a chance. Like, as I said before, we have good days and bad days. He's a legend, and he knows how to play the sport. So he can easily just put up 3 great rounds and just do it.
What do you think about Tiger Woods?
To be honest, not sure. I respect him as a player, but some of his morals aren't so great.
What do you think about Tiger Woods?
My only knowledge of Tiger Woods is like when you go through Walmart and you go through the checkout lane and you see him like on magazines and things like that. That's about all I know about him, besides the fact that you see him on the news occasionally. But if I were to be completely honest, I don't know too much about him, so.
Well, that's the word on the street. Until next time, Jonathan Rydell.
Welcome back. Well, Colby, I wanted to ask you, what did you think about the reactions of people to the famous Tiger Woods?
Well, you know, that's something that was really interesting. I obviously went on to the street here at SU to see exactly what people thought about him, and it was really, really interesting because most people thought that he was a great golfer, one of the best to ever play. I heard a lot of people actually say off camera that he's the GOAT, as some people would say, the greatest of all time. And I just couldn't believe how much really outpour of support there was for him there. However, I will say, and as we saw in the video that we just played, that there are a lot of people who necessarily didn't agree with his morals. And it's amazing to see an athlete's morality kind of make its way off of the golf course, off of, you know, outside the lines, I guess you would say. And so for me, that was something that I really learned a lot. Just to see that a personal life can actually get in the way of a professional career, that was astonishing to me.
Right. And Dr. G, you know, your book, it discusses a lot of things about long-term injury. And as we know, Tiger Woods, he's dealt with a lot of back issues, a lot of knee issues. He's had to change his swing a lot. How do you think that dealing with long-term injury could help an athlete succeed?
Well, with Tiger, he's had the proper mental game training. Remember when he was growing up, he had a sports psychologist on his back. So he's got the mental toughness and the ability to come back and to fight through it. He's good with confidence and his ability of the game, and he's getting older.
Right.
So he's dealing with that.
Age is taking a toll.
During his trials, he had a lot of anger. He was speeding, on drugs, doing all these types of things, and we wish him the best, and he is good for the game.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with his morals.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
He definitely brings a lot of excitement. To the game.
But when we went and watched him at the Arnold Palmer Invitational last year, we couldn't get near him. We had to go two, 3 holes ahead of him before we sat there, and we were right up front watching him. And I'm saying, don't these people think that he's got problems? But you never know. They were encouraging him, and but personally, I love Jack Nicklaus.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's the one that I grew up
Bear.
with, so I don't want him to beat his record.
Right.
If he does, that would be good for the game, but I don't think he's going to be honest with you.
Honestly, I feel kind of the same way.
So.
But Colby, I know you're a golfer at heart.
Yeah,
And
big time.
you love Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods is your guy. How do you feel about this comeback, as they say?
I'm very proud and excited of him. I mean, obviously, a lot of people will say his personal issues are too much to really go out and support him. But for me, I don't really see a problem with him. At the end of the day, he's a professional golfer. He's a figure that's really almost transcendent of the sport. And as much as I love Jack Nicklaus, too, with his 18 majors and all of his PGA career victories, I just don't think he has the charisma and the flair that Tiger brings to the game. So for me, I thought that he was absolutely fantastic, coming up into this season and in last season. And he actually won the Tour Championship, which is something that's, not to be frowned upon or, looked upon lightly. That was a big deal for him. He beat the top 30 players in the world in FedEx Cup points. For people who don't know what FedEx Cup points are, it's really the playoffs of the PGA in a lot of ways. And so I'm very excited to see where he's gone and to see just his recovery. They say that he couldn't even pick up a golf club on the golf course. He couldn't even chip a ball. That's something that even, the worst of golfers like us take for granted. And for the greatest of all time, in my opinion, and for one of the best in the world, I think it's astonishing, and I hope that he gets some majors. And no offense, Dr. G, but I hope that he beats Jack Nicklaus.
He's had a great comeback, but we're going to have to talk about this afterwards.
That's funny.
No, I'm just saying Nicklaus is my man, and I'm just old school.
Yeah.
I wish him the best because Tiger's had a tough comeback. I mean, but he's impressed a lot of people from the injuries that he's had.
Right.
But he's had some good support apparently, and that's in the book.
And
I
would
a support
say
system.
his comeback, right now, just from where he was to right now, is one of the most impressive comebacks in sports history. We
no
saw
doubt.
Colby; he
No
wasn't
doubt.
quite the same when he tore his Achilles. But for Tiger to come back from a really debilitating injury, it was incredible.
No doubt. It was very difficult
Really
comeback.
quick, before we wrap up,
Yes, sir.
guys, any majors for the rest of his career?
Oh,
Do you think he wins?
absolutely. First of all, he kills at Augusta every year. I hope that he gets maybe his, 5th green jacket this year, so I would say yes at Augusta.
And what about you, Dr.
I'm anybody but Tiger.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I just, I like Jordan Spieth and JT and some of the others,
So
the
you
new
got
bucks
a lot
coming
of
up.
new guys coming
Yeah,
up.
I do. I like
Yeah,
to
A lot
see
of
them.
guys with the winning edge.
Yeah.
Although Tiger's a big contender.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
you're
Dr.
welcome.
G, for coming
Thanks
on.
for inviting
Thank
me.
you.
I enjoyed
Thank
it.
you, Colby.
Thank you for having
Thank you
me.
so much.
Colby, good seeing you.
Nice seeing you, too.
Well, that's it for the show today, guys. You're watching Close Approach, and until next time, enjoy yourselves on the golf course.